Harrison Graham here, another episode of Chicago Bears Now coming at you. We got our mock draft 20.0 coming at you here on today's show. I can't believe we've reached 20. How many will we get to before the NFL draft, which is right at a month away? Let's dive in here and look. Moving forward, I'm just going to take Caleb number one because I think I'm doing a disservice if I look into other scenarios at this point. If there's reports that they're considering, I'll do a mock draft in a different direction. And to be honest, I just think it's not like, sure, it's fun. I could do some fun trade down scenarios, but I think mock drafts are a combination or should be a combination of what is most likely and what I would do. And both those boxes check Caleb at one. So I just think it's kind of a waste of time if I explore other scenarios. And I guess really the question now for this mock draft as I do it, late in the month of March, is this done? Is this already a done deal? Because Ryan Poles raved about meeting with Caleb in Los Angeles, said his leadership really stood out. Teammates raved about him. He's having trouble even finding someone who doesn't like, if not love him. Pointed out his leadership, like I said, and he's visiting Hallis Hall next week. And I think if all goes well there, this thing could be done. I think he's 99.9% a Bear. I really do. I think this is as close to the finish line without handing in the card on draft night that it can possibly be. Again, are there scenarios where that changes before the draft? I suppose, but I do think they're kind of nuclear scenarios. I don't think it's like some casual, Washington made us a good trade offer. I think it's like something crazy happens with Caleb off the field, and they're like, oh, crap, we have to pivot. But I don't envision that happening. I do think Caleb Williams is the number one overall pick. So we go through the rest of this mock draft. The way, based on recent rumors, reports, a lot of chatter that QBs could go in the first four. And going through this mock draft exercise, Jayden Daniels at number 2 to Washington, Drake Maye number 3 to New England, and then Minnesota trades up with Arizona. They send 11, 23, and future capital to get up to number 4 and take J.J. McCarthy. And look, do not be surprised if 4 QBs kick this draft off, or at least 4 in the top 5. And that's a very good thing for the Bears, by the way, because you want as many QBs going before that 9th pick if you end up staying there. However, in this mock draft, we're moving up, baby. You want me to mix it up? I'm not teetering off Caleb at 1, but let's have some fun. Let's trade up to the number 5 overall pick, trading 9 to the Chargers, plus that second-round pick next year via Carolina, which very well could be 33. I think Carolina's going to be really bad again. NFC North got stronger. They're still at least a year away from competing, in my opinion. So that's a top 35, top 40 pick in a draft that teams really value next year already. That's been pretty obvious. And then you go get Marvin Harrison Jr. I know a lot of people on the Keep Justin Fields train were, get MHJ, let's get MHJ. Well, what if you get both? I wouldn't completely rule out this possibility. And if you're sitting there saying, why would the Chargers do this? Well, a couple reasons why I think they could consider it. One, I think this year's a transition year for L.A. They traded Keenan Allen to Chicago. Awesome for the Bears. They cut Mike Williams. They had cap issues that they're trying to fix. This could be one of those years where, hey, if Harbaugh coaches his ass off, maybe they're a wild card team, but they're not really a contender this year, I don't think. And what do we know about Jim Harbaugh? He really likes to build through the trenches. And he might say, okay, I'm going to trade down to number 9, and Joe Alt could be there. Or one of the other top 3 receivers could still be there. Worst case, Fuaga or Joe Alt could be there. He's going to have options for players of similar tier to Marvin Harrison Jr. sitting there at number 9, and he's going to get a high capital pick next year. Again, that at worst is going to be a top 40 pick in all likelihood. So, and then on the Bears side of things, well, hey, you all of a sudden have maybe the best wide receiver core in the NFL. Marvin Harrison Jr., there's been some chatter recently that Neighbors and Adunze are right there with him. And look, maybe they are. I still think MHJ is the best receiver in this draft. You put him opposite of DJ Moore with Keenan Allen in the slot, and then you just have Tyler Scott run 10 go routes a game with that speed. I mean, you find a better trio in the NFL than that. I don't think it exists. I mean, Cincinnati with what they've had with Chase and Boyd in the slot, and then Higgins on the outside, pretty good. I think this unit's better. I really do. I think this trio could be absolutely unbelievable if the Bears were able to pull it off. And again, sure, could you use an edge? Do you need more pass rushing help? Yes, but the defense is already top 10. let's get as much ammunition for Caleb Williams as possible, and going up and getting MHJ would certainly be doing just that. Now, would you make this trade to get Marvin Harrison Jr.? Swap 9 and 5 and give up that second-round pick from Carolina, which is valuable, in next year's draft. Type T for trade or P for pass. I think I'd pull the trigger on this. I'm not sure the Bears would, but, man, that is a lot of fun to think about if you are Chicago. So let's trade down again, because after trading up to 5, you don't pick again until the 70s, 75 to be exact. Jacksonville comes calling. I'll move down 21 spots to 96, pick up a 4th, pick up a 5th in the process as well. And then let's get a defensive lineman. Let's get Michael Hall Jr., the defensive tackle out of Ohio State, who fits a lot of the relative athletic score metrics the Bears like. His production, which is pretty much just the last 2 years. He played like 2 games his freshman year, so 26 games in total in college. Pretty good for an interior guy. 6 sacks, 10 TFLs. And I think what really stood out to me, what I like, looking at his this number per PFF, his pass rush win rate, over 18%. That's good for a college interior player. That's really, really good. So if you can add him to that rotation, he's probably not a starter, at least right away, but you have him as like your number 2-3 tech behind Gervon Dexter. You hoping Dexter takes that big jump. Michael Hall, maybe he plays similar level to what Dexter played last year. You got Billings at the nose, Zach Pickens rotating in. Is it absolutely stout in the interior? No, but I do think it's better, and I think it's a group that could grow together with 3 really, really young pieces. Before we get to the next selection here, we got DeAndre Swift jerseys available at chatsports.com/Swift4. I know we've sold a few of these already, so get in on them before they fly off the shelves. He is rocking number 4. The jerseys aren't in stock yet. When they are, we will let you know. Chatsports.com/Swift4. Link is in the comments and in the description of this video. Click and shop today. Get yourself a Swift jersey. All right, day 3 picks here. Muhammad Kamara at 114, one of those extra picks I got from Jacksonville. I love him in the 4th round. He's undersized. He's small. I get it. He's literally like 6'1", 240 something. So, like, is it the most ideal for a 4-3 edge? No. But you watch the kid play, and he just knows how to rush the passer. Like, he's a smart player. And he talked about, I was actually at his podium for a little bit at the NFL Combine. He talked about how being lower to the ground was a big advantage for him in college. And you've seen guys in the NFL have that success with that lower to the ground kind of just center of gravity there. And I think he can do some of that. Now, is he kind of a tweener in a 4-3? Does he play occasional off ball? Perhaps. I think he's athletic enough to do that. But I kind of view him as like a nickel dime pass rusher. Like, you kind of bring him in on when you got heavy coverage on the back end, and he can be an extra rusher for you. So I like that idea. I don't know if he's ever a full-time starter, but again, this is the 4th round. You bring him in, rush the passer 10 to 15 times a game, and that's kind of what his role is. And look, is Michael Hall and Muhammad Kamara the sexy, high-end kind of extra pass rush you're looking for on the D-line? No, but if you don't get one in that round 1 spot, which in this case I traded up for MHJ, you add a couple of guys in the middle rounds, I think that's at least solid, and then maybe you turn back to free agency after the draft, and you go sign a veteran pass rusher like a Carl Lawson or something like that if he's still out there. So I like the depth you're getting here with these 2 guys as you need to continue to add to that side of the ball, at least up front. Okay, Ben Sinnott, the tight end out of Kansas State with the Bears' own 4th-round pick. I've taken him in a couple of mocks now. You still have to fill that tight end 3 role. Did a little bit of everything at K-State. He really came onto the scene in 2022, the second half of that year when K-State ended up winning the Big 12 championship. I watched him play twice in person, made a one-handed touchdown catch in one of the games I saw. Really athletic, good ball skills. They lined him up at H-back sometimes. You still have a clear need at tight end 3 right now. Love the 1-2 punch. I've said I would like to bring back Mercedes Lewis, which I still would, but you could still bring back Lewis, and then Sinnott is kind of your just do-it-all guy. He plays some tight end. He plays some H-back. You line him up at fullback. Maybe you cut Kari Blasingame and save some money there because Blasingame really can only play fullback. Sinnott can play 2-3 positions, and he can do it at a high level, in my opinion. So I think 4th round's the sweet spot for him, and I think he's a player that should be on the Bears' radar possibly. Subscribe to the channel. We got more Bears news, rumors, draft coverage, and a whole lot more. This is our 20th mock draft. Probably get up to 25 or so before the start of the NFL draft. So if you're looking for more coverage like that, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. Let's keep the ball rolling here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, Tanner Bortolini, who had a really good NFL combine. Some decent tape this year at Wisconsin as well. This is actually round 5, pick 153, but same number, no big deal there. I think Bortolini, you look at this guy, is kind of an ideal developmental center guy because you've got Coleman Shelton and Ryan Bates. We'll see who starts there. There's a lot of debate around that right now. I've got Shelton in there because he's got more experience, but they did trade for Bates, so it wouldn't shock me either way. I think you can get by with what you have this year, but if the right situation pops up in the middle of this draft where you can add a developmental guy, Bortolini, who, by the way, can play guard as well, which I like that, played center this past year. The athletic profile is exactly what Ryan Poles wants in his offensive lineman. Not too heavy, guy who can move around, a lot of green there, 9.97, really athletic, can play in the middle of that offensive line. I think he's a good day 3 center. The athletic traits are there. He had a bit of a snapping problem at Wisconsin last year, which I know is going to give us PTSD. But again, you redshirt him next year. He's not a guy you play. Like, you draft him in the 4th, 5th round. He sits behind Coleman Shelton and Ryan Bates, and he's your number 2, number 3 center. He's an emergency guard if needed, and that's kind of where you go. I would still like to get a guy in the middle rounds, depending on how the draft goes, at that center position, because I don't think you necessarily have a long-term answer. Maybe a guy like Bortolini becomes that with a year or two of sitting behind a couple of vets. All right, there you go. 6 picks in this mock draft, despite trading up in the top 10, by the way. Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., man, that's just incredible to think about. Michael Hall Jr. as well after trading down from 75. You get Muhammad Kamara in the 4th round as a edge rusher out of Colorado State, really productive. Ben Sinnott can do it all at the tight end fullback position, and then Tanner Bortolini in round 5 to kind of round things out there in this mock draft, getting those extra picks by trading down with Jacksonville there in the 3rd round. Grade today's Bears mock, A, B, C, D, or F. How do you guys think we did on this one? Go ahead and let us know. And don't forget to give me a follow on Twitter. It's at HGramNFL. If you're calling it X, that's fine too. At HGramNFL over there. And we'll get some follows back to as many people as we possibly can.